We're gonna do one called Even Trolls Love Rock and Roll. Yeah. Now one time I had this little band back home, a rock and roll band. And we was going to play this job one night, and it went too far away, so we was walking. Well, we came up on this long, dark stretch of woods. Had an old river running through it, and an old wooden bridge across the river. Well, just as I was about to step up on the bridge, out stepped the troll. The almighty troll. And he said, "Hey, looks like y'all going to play somewhere." And I said, "Yes, sir." Cause you always want to say yes sir to a troll. He said, "Now look, I hate to mess up you boys' job, but I sure could dig hearing y'all play a little bit." I said, "Man, we can't just plug up and play right here on the bridge." And the troll said, "Why?" And I go, "Cause." But the troll said, "Play." That's what we did. Well, the wind was howling at the night, and the moon was covered up with clouds. I was walking across a bridge on a dirt road when I heard the troll growl. He said, "Don't you go walking across my bridge. I'm gonna make it tough on you. I will give you swamp fever. You'll be wondering if you're you. Yeah, you know you got to pay the toll. Those even trolls of rock and roll." Ooh, it will keep you up all night, drinking and a carrying on, getting it to the swamp music. Get it on, get it on. Yeah, you know you got to pay the toll. Those even trolls of rock and roll.
Right. Oop, got now I'm hearing myself. So let's see. Yeah, here we are. Who asked that? Famo, is D Cup still around? Was that what I heard? Yeah, I think he is. That's what kind of brought this up. I think he was at the Earl trial, and I heard that voice, and I said, "Son of a bitch, I've heard that voice. What the fuck?" He was at the trial, wasn't he? I think he was, or was he just? Yeah, he was there like the third day or something like that. I said, "Man, there's that motherfucker. That's his." Let me dig around because I know I talked to that motherfucker. It was it was 4 years ago, about the same time, exactly 4 years ago. And for those of you who knew me in the previous life, I was, I was a scam baiter, and I kind of came over to this community, see what's going on, what's over here, what's all this about, and all this stuff. And then, how do I put it? Well, I started fucking around a little bit and got myself into a pinch. I was in a bad way because I was getting, I was kind of overstepping my bounds and making calls and fucking with people and shit like that. And then it kind of came back on me. And I don't really like to talk about it too much, but I was in a bad spot. I had a bunch of people after me, trying to put me in. Well, Eric Brandt was trying to. He called the FBI on me. I think not now, maybe later. Some guy named Not Now, Maybe Later called the feds on me too, and trying to get me locked up. And so I was in a bad spot. I was, and I don't really like to talk about it too much, but it's okay. It's been 4 years, and but back then, I came across this website, this Damon Chief Jones or somebody sent it to me. Now he's reduced his rates. Back then it was $100, but helping targeted individual. Well, fuck, that's me. I said that's me. Uh, so I thought I'd check him out, and I didn't really pick up on it that he was in the 1A community. Somebody sent me this link. Wow, $500 depending on complexity. Anyway, yeah, so here he is. And apparently he was an ex law enforcement guy and got into the 1A community and kind of helped those guys out. Kind of like Felipe. He's in here, kind of like Felipe was doing. Well, anyway, so I guess he had some other services, that he offered. He'll advocate on your behalf or that of your pets or animals. That's nice because they can be targeted too, and that's very sad when that happens. So or friends, he it's a very wide list of services, and his clientele is very wide. Family members, friends, employers, everybody. And apparently what it does, if you've been targeted by either some stalkers or cyberbullying on online or something like that, or he'll step in on your behalf and he'll put an end to it. Now he does require, let's see, he does require. Where does it say how much his requirements? Let's see. You got to fill out a questionnaire. I can't find not a very good website as far as getting around. There's a list of requirements you have to do, and it's pretty in depth. I mean, you got to do it. You got to fill out all kinds of stuff and other things, and submit files and evidence and things like that before you even review it. But luckily, I mean, I must have caught him on a good day because I didn't want to fuck with all that shit. So I thought I would just give him a call, see if he'd take my case because I was in a bad spot. People were fucking with me. A bunch of Trump, mainly some Trump supporters and shit like that, were fucking with me. And I really needed some help. And I figured for $100, 1 hour, well, what could it hurt? I want to find his. Well, let's look at his questionnaire. Yeah, full name, email, all that stuff. Okay, good. That's good. Date you first became a suspicious or wary or a target. I had to dig all that up. I didn't have time to dig all that shit. What type? That's easy. I was being fucked with. Cyberbullying, cyber harassment, stalking. Okay, do you know whom is doing this? Well, yeah, Not Now, Maybe Later, Eric Brandt, some other motherfuckers are fucking with me. Let's see. Do you know why? No, I had no idea. That's why no idea why. Well, I gotta be honest, I kind of do. How do I deal with this daily? Grounding, protective headgear, minerals. How do live in an out? How do you deal with this daily? Wow, maybe this is more. Maybe he's too qualified for what I need because this is physical. Yeah, I don't know. So apparently, reading this, you probably have a lot of questions too, and I did when as I recall, and so I thought I'd give him a call, and I'm going to play the call. I'm going to jump right in and play it because it's an hour long, and I'd even cut it down. Now keep in mind, I called him. now keep in mind. He's a 501c3. Oh, here's his. I'm gonna leave this up for a little bit because this is the qualifications of some of his staff. Very impressive, and the certifications and everything else. He had a team of psychiatrists, psychologists, whatever. Here's all his stuff. Anyway. Can't believe I think this website isn't really all that great. There's a way to get to like what he really got down into doing services offered. Great. Is that Reverend? Is that Reverend? Can't be. Is that Reverend? Is that Reverend Kelly from here? I don't even know. Okay, 40 years. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. A, 1, 2, and then A through. I skipped all the A through G. Yeah, make a donate. First of all, no. First, make the donation. Then send him an email with your particular issue that he may review, or you may fill out the intake sheet and email it to him. Well, you saw the intake sheet, along with anything you want to say. Be sure to be specific. Okay, that's good. Yeah, don't want to waste time. Conjecture and thought and suspicion are not evidence. Okay, this is not admissible in court of law. Okay, wow. I guess he takes it all the way to court for us too for these services. Try and be specific. Oh, that's good. Be advised that your donation is to review your intake and additional information on your email. In other words, be advised. We're gonna need some more money. Chief Jones will contact you by email and get a date and time to schedule a 30-minute consultation. Any additional labor, such as making phone calls, writing letters, okay, standard jargon for contract stuff. We're gonna bill you for every damn thing we do. Texting, emailing. This is good stuff. I'll post his while I'm going through the call for you guys. You guys can open up the link. Make sure I get the right spot here. And I'm going to get into it so we can get this thing on the road. And let's jump over to here we go.
Okay, this is Chief Jones. How are you?
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there trying to get over my sickness.
Oh no, I hope you feel better. I don't know, just like you got a cold or something.
Well, it's acute bronchitis. Seems like between about the middle of October, middle of November every year, or 2 years out of 3, I get it. It just don't seem to matter where I'm at, I get it. It's a change of season. It just happens. But
well, it goes away, huh? Okay.
Yeah, when I used to live in Dallas, it seemed like about every 4 or 5 months I'd have an attack. When I moved to Florida, it got to be in about one time a year. Sometimes I'd miss a year.
Hope you get better. Well, that's right. I live in Dallas Fort Worth area. That's where I am. But
yes, sir.
Well, look.
I don't know.
I came across.
I don't know what's going on. Go ahead.
Well, I come across your website. I don't know if you. I didn't know that there was someone that did that kind of thing where people are being targeted like I am. I got some people out. They've run me off of YouTube and they just bully me. They're a bunch of bullies, basically. Just run me off of YouTube and run me off of Facebook, and they just follow me everywhere I go. They make my life miserable, and I don't know how to combat them. I talk to everybody tells me just to go somewhere else and let it die down, but they follow me, and I'm getting to the point where I want to find them and I don't know what to do. I just don't know how to handle it. I want to get some payback or something. I don't know if that's
well. It depends. It depends on, and I know this might be hard to accept, but it depends on if they work for a government, a corporation, or they're just nasty individuals, how to proceed and what you can do and what's acceptable and what.
They're just a bunch of bunch of older guys that just run around in a pack, run like a pack. They don't belong to a government agency or anything like that. It's just a bunch of them, they're a bunch of Trump supporters, and they come after me, and they're mad at me because I'm on disability, and they think I'm a leech on the system, and they've been bullying me. Didn't tell me they're going to run me off of YouTube, and they did that because I had to finally shut it down to get away from him. And they're mad at me for all kinds of things because basically that's their biggest problem with me. Is that they
Well,
think I'm
almost always when I hear this story, it's the other way around.
oh yeah.
I have never, I never heard of Trump supporters quote victimizing anybody in any way.
Right. I know but
This
these
is the
guys are
first time.
well. They say that they're just a. I say that, man. Maybe they not all of them are. I don't know, but they do that because they know that I don't try not to be political, and they rub that in my face, and they say that Trump's going to take away my disability, and they got to where they just run me off. They make it. They make I don't know how they find me. I don't know. They find me wherever I go. I start a new channel somewhere and they find me. And I go to Facebook and they find me. I don't know.
Well, what was your YouTube about?
Oh, well, I was just kind of like a character and some skits and some poetry and stuff like that I would do, and then it got to where it was nothing but them in there and just messing with me, and then they would take my what I've done on my YouTube, and they would put it on their channels, and then I had to get them taken down because they were doing things about me that weren't very nice. You know.
Oh well,
Like,
I've been all through that. I got a criminal attorney. When I say criminal, he works in family law in California, and I
oh
had
yeah,
to file criminal charges on him
on the
for
attorney,
stalk. Huh?
on the attorney.
Yeah, I filed criminal charges on him. He's in Northern California, and he's called Merb, MERB 34ST on YouTube.
Oh,
He has a Discord, and he passed law school in 2000, but didn't get his law license until 2019. It took him almost 20 years to get a law license because he's just so stupid and arrogant and pompous. Anyway,
well,
I was doing
why is a
the
lawyer
amendment.
why is a lawyer
Huh?
messing with why is a lawyer messing with you? That doesn't make any sense. It seemed like
Well, here's the deal. I'm saying I was doing a First Amendment audit in Leon Valley, Texas, with other auditors. Okay, and I was trying to go there to diffuse things and try and talk to the chief, maybe the city manager, and try and come up with a resolution how they had beat down a Hispanic guy and they had arrested people, taken their phones without authorization, broke into phones and all kind of stuff. So I went there to try and diffuse it and get it back on track. Well, this guy made a comment. I didn't know him from Adam's house cat. And so he does this little diatribe thing that's about 4 or 5 paragraphs long, maybe longer, a real long comment about you can't do this and you can't do that. He went all this stuff. And so I very politely, of course, you can't put your feelings in a text. But I commented back and said, sir, / man, I didn't know if it was a man or woman.
yeah,
I've been in law enforcement for 40 years.
yeah,
I retired. I've studied the law for 40 years,
right,
been in numerous court cases, have personal friends that are judges from the local through the federal, know many attorneys, and absolutely everything I'm doing, I can do, and I can do a lot more. I'm trying to be a problem solver here, and you just don't understand the law correctly. somehow you got a misconception. I'm willing to talk to you about this and help you to understand. Well, that pissed him off. He's a narcissist, he's narcissistic, and he's a psychopath. Eventually, over time, this has been going on for 2 years. Eventually, over time, I've got psychologists and psychiatrists and medical doctors on my team, and some other big name people that I don't never name none of them.
Right.
They stay behind the curtain. So they did a hair, HARE, hair psychopathy exam on him because he had so many videos. It just, they could get his mannerisms, his styles, and they did the test on him, and he rated, depending on who rated him, between a 31 and a 34. But that's Charles Manson's rating.
Oh, Lord. Well, man, you got your hands full with that guy. Jeez, I thought I had problems. Jesus.
It don't end there. I mean, he started going after other auditors, telling them what to do. And they didn't know who he was. And they said, we're sorry, you just don't understand the situation. And unless you're trained in law and study the law, you just don't understand. Well, that pissed him off. So he had a channel that had been up since 2011. Okay. He had about 200 people on there. It took him something like 7 years, almost 8 years to get those couple hundred, right? Well, when people started noticing him, and he got 400 or 500 pretty quick. So he had doubled or tripled in a few months there. Well, once he got up around 700 or 800, he felt empowered and he felt relevant. And
right.
He had been a lawyer now for a whole 3 months. Well, he had actually, when he started commenting to me, he had his license for about 14 days.
So now he's got his license and he's got a YouTube channel that's got 400. Now he's feeling pretty salty.
Right. But he kept combating, and soon he passed 1,000. And so we did some background checks on him and yada, 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 and found out all kind of stuff. Like there's a guy on YouTube that used to deliver pizza. And he badgered the hell out of him, pizza boy, dead end job, and all this other stuff. We found out he was a pizza guy. Okay, that's projecting.
Oh, he was the pizza guy.
Yeah, but I'm saying he was on this other guy about being a pizza boy, and he was full of crap, and he was idiot and a hillbilly and all this stuff. Well, when we checked out the perpetrator that was the attorney, then he was a pizza guy. So you're projecting on other people what you're doing.
Right. He was a pizza boy too at one time, right? That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There ain't nothing wrong
he had a
with
whole
delivering
bunch
pizzas. Yeah.
But the whole thing is that he got this thing called Discord. And when he got Discord, he would take people off everything you can't say or do on YouTube. He was going there and training them and grooming them. Well, then he finds somebody that was a First Amendment auditor that had a sex offense back in the 80s. But there's the backstory to that is that this was a guy that was a cop and he was outing dirty cops. So they hooked him up. Okay. So he was outing bad cops. He was a federal cop and he was outing cops. And so they told him, stop it or he'd pay. Well, they hooked him up and they got a conviction on him. Well, back then there was no sex registry. And in fact, he kept working as a cop and doing fugitive recovery around the world. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, many years later, he added some more people. And so they said, okay, now you freaked out. We're going to put you on the sex registry now. So then they wouldn't let him be a cop no more. It was a sad story. Anyway, the point is, he kept doing news stories for TV stations in Houston and around, making a living as a freelance journalist.
Right.
And then started YouTube and started doing First Amendment audits. Well, the people really rallied behind this attorney because he kept making it look worse and worse on this guy. Then he found other people that had some kind of sex crime somewhere in their life, and a couple of them were applying for pardons based on innocence, and they had a lot of facts in their favor, and he started attacking them. So these people that are haters, mean, a lot of them are disabled, so they got 24 hours a day to
Right.
stay on a computer when they're not sleeping or eating.
Trying to stay busy. Right. Do something.
Yeah,
Do something
so,
positive.
the
Why is he?
next thing is
Why
that,
is he doing it? Why is that guy? What is it? That attorney or whatever? Why is he spending all his time on this? Seems like he's got other things to do. Why is he?
well, put it this way. We proved to the California bar that while he's working on people's cases and he's billing them for doing it, that he's on YouTube doing things during billable hours. So he does a video every morning. He takes his dogs for a walk, and he does this video for 30 to 45 minutes every morning.
Huh.
Then sometimes he'll do one on the way to work. He'll do one after he gets off of work. Sometimes he'll do one in the evening. So he's putting a couple hours in it. So basically, he got this Discord. This Discord at one time had over 100 people in it. So he was teaching them how to go after people, and he was cherry picking his words so that
That's
nothing
cool.
could be made out of it.
Right.
This is how you groom people and train them.
That's kind of
Well,
what's happening to me. That's what's kind of happening to me, but it ain't not that organized. I don't think, you know.
right. So here's the next thing. I'm in Alabama. He gets guys from North Alabama to come down and start videotaping me and my family and my house. And then he starts
What?
trying to go back to my police record and asking for open records on me, starts posting anything that he thought might look bad on me. And it was a half a truth. In other words, he pointed out anything that looked bad, but he never went to the conclusion of what happened where I was acquitted and found innocent, no probable cause. Okay?
He sent people to your house.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I mean, now,
Well,
but
Jesus.
see, here's what happens. There's some guys in North Alabama, like over a 3-hour drive away, that was on his Discord from what we uncovered. They said, we live in Alabama. We could drive up and down the public streets and take pictures of him. And so, he replies back, cool.
Huh.
In other words, that's condoning. But when the bar talks to me, he says, well, people say they're going to drive on a public street. You can drive on a public street and you can photograph what you see.
Right.
So they're all cool. But they kept driving up and down the street taking these pictures, and then would be driving through town and people would be following us. And so these idiots, the chief of police here is a personal friend. The sheriff is a personal friend.
Right.
I know numerous law enforcement through here. So I whip in the police department and they take off like a scalded dog.
Yeah, I bet they do. Yeah. They're
So-
gone.
So
Hmm.
anyway,
Well,
this happens on and off for a week. Then my parents start getting phone calls at their house.
oh well, now
Other
there you
people
go.
that know me start getting phone calls.
That's not good.
And they start, your buddy Chief Jones, you know he's this or he's that or whatever. Well, then we found out that this guy, he married a woman from Asia that had a good college job paying really good. Bad on the internet and harassed her so bad she basically gave up, took all her videos down, and our understanding is from somebody that knows her that she got a phone call and some emails saying, if you'll come over to our side, we'll leave you alone. So she did.
Hmm.
And then they tried to extract information out of her, anything she knew about me or any other auditors, so they could go research and make us look bad. I went on YouTube and I said, hey, this is one of my fireside chats, and here's what's really going on. Well, man, I got volumes and volumes of email saying we knew something was up, we just hadn't connected the dots, or we had a suspicion that this wasn't right. You couldn't have retired in law enforcement 40 years and worked multiple agencies, and they never found anything, and that when there were accusations, you were proved to be correct, and that you had a stellar reputation in law enforcement. So, I guess the long and short of it is, it really doesn't matter who you are or where you are, they will attack.
That seems to be the case. Jesus, well, I didn't know it was that prevalent all around. I mean, these guys are, yeah, they're not as bad as your situation, but these guys have just been messing with me. I don't know where they are. I don't know how to find them. I don't know what to. I want to find them. I want to blow the damn computers up, take the computers away from them. They're gonna act like they're 50-year-old men acting like kids, coming after me, trying to erase me off of YouTube, and calling my house, and they know all the tricks. I guess it sounds like like a bunch of hackers.
Right.
YouTube
But
hackers.
see, the thing is that there is a triggering event in all situations. I'm trying to figure out that's why I was asking you what your YouTube was about, because there's something that set people off, and then somebody took it to the next level, and so forth and so on. So that's why I'm asking,
Yeah.
what was you doing? Poetry, wouldn't do it.
Well, we have a
I don't
difference of
think.
opinion. Well, I talk about my disability and being on SSI, and then they once one come in and heard that, they got all their buddies to come over, and they start, telling me that I'm a leech on society and all this stuff, and then I'm because I go out and get a job and get off the taxpayers, get out of taxpayers' pocket, that kind of thing. And I got disability. I don't have any teeth.
Well, so you was on there talking about your disabilities.
Right, yeah, that and a couple other things, but it wasn't much other than that. That's kind of what set them off mainly.
Okay.
And then they come in with I said something about Trump, didn't like Trump, whatever. Then they'd come in with the Trump's going to take away my disability money, and put me out on the street, And then they would take some of my material and they make spoof videos of me, dancing around and looking like an idiot, like a fool on the internet, And then I had.
Well, here's the thing. Under the First Amendment, anybody can make a spoof or a comedy skit on anything you do. 100% legal. Now, if it's an orchestrated effort to deprive you of your civil rights, then it becomes a criminal issue.
Well, it's harassment. It's harassment. They harass me 24 hours a day. They would harass me, and then they would put those videos and stuff, and then so I tried to stay away. Then they called the cops on me. The cops come out. They made up a story and called the local police, just so the police would come out and mess with me. And they came out while I was on YouTube, and they were laughing and yucking it up about that. When the cop come out, told me and basically told the cop that I was inciting a panic or something, and the cop made me get off of YouTube because he took their side. He took their story because they called in.
Well, here's one thing that we're doing. Our psychologist team are making recommendations to the DA that when they're criminally prosecuted, there's a 50-50 chance if they'll do any time. But part of the stipulation is that they have to pay $10,000 for every violation, cash. The second stipulation is that they are banned from a computer for 25 years.
That's what
And if they're caught on a computer, they cannot own, possess, or use a smartphone. They can have a phone that they can call and text on, but that's it.
Yeah.
They can't if somebody's using a computer beside them, they can see it, but they can't use it.
Yeah, well, they don't know how to behave on a computer. That's the thing, they're. I think some of them are actually hackers. They hack, like they called my. Well, they made a, what do you call it? One of those YouTube accounts under my wife's doctor's name, and how they got her name, I don't know. My wife's doctor and had an appointment, and they come into the YouTube chat confirming the appointment, and it was the doctor's name, my wife's doctor. And I said, well, they must have hacked something somehow. I don't know how they got that information. They're crazy.
Is your wife disabled, or she work?
Oh, she works.
Okay. What kind of work does she do?
Oh, she does like work at home on doing internet surveys and research and stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so she had a doctor's appointment the next day, and they come in there as the doctor's name, asking her to confirm her appointment tomorrow. And I said, well, how did they get that information?
Some of these people got more money than they got sense.
That's what I'm thinking. These bunch of old people got money. They're retired. I think they're doing this for fun.
Right, but what I was going to say is, your wife probably knows or should know somebody in the IT field that probably needs to come by and put anti-hacking software on your computers.
Yeah, we did all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did all that. We had to. We think they hacked her email is what happened, so we had to change that down. And anyway,
right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal, and here's what I say. You have a public email, then you have private email. You know what I mean? In other words, say if you have a YouTube channel or you got a Facebook, you got you got your regular private email that you give to family and friends or whoever you want to give it to, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
But you got one that is for YouTube specifically, and then one for Facebook specifically. They're different ones. The reason you do that is because if they do on one email, then it's dealing with Facebook. If they do on the other email, it's on YouTube.
Right.
So you separate them out.
Right. I didn't expect them to do all this, especially to my wife. I didn't expect them to do all this, so we had no idea. And so anyway, these guys, well, they're out of control. I just don't know which way to go with them. But it sounds like you've been down this road quite a few times, and you're going down it yourself right now with that crazy lawyer over there.
Yes, 2 years.
2 years.
So, but see, after about 9 months, we had a lot of information, but we didn't have everything we wanted. So we let the agitators really set him off, and then I began to talk about him. And so a bunch of our people went over there to Discord just to see what was being said and copy and paste stuff off and screenshot it and all that other stuff, so we'd have evidence. And then the more often that happened, and then sometimes somebody'd say, so you think y'all are going to be able to get Chief or be able to get this one or that one? Oh, yeah. So they just asked a question. They didn't provoke nobody. They just asked a question.
Well, what do they mean? What do they mean, get you? Yeah. What do they mean by get you? What does that mean?
Well, just what it means in life. You're going to get somebody. You're going to harass them. You're going to stalk them. You're going to do something to cause them distress, disturb their peace,
right?
In some way. Yeah. And so they'd say, yeah, and they come back and say something like, how long is it going to take, you think? We're beating him down like a dog daily. He'll give up before long. So they try and shut you down so you can't exercise your free speech.
Swear you
And
down. Huh?
so that violates the Constitution. Two or more of them together, depriving you of a civil right, which is your First Amendment. So anyway, we let it go for about a year and a half. Then I had my package together, sent it to the bar, and we also sent it to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of California.
Oh yeah.
So then, here about 2 months ago, we got our answer back from the bar. Well, the whole time it was at the bar, he talked about everybody but me. He got completely, absolutely quiet. Numerous spoof videos that people had put up on me, they deleted them. Of course, we'd already downloaded them, but they deleted them.
Yeah,
And they went back trying to delete things into Discord that would be used against them. Well, somebody went in there anonymous and said, too late. They already downloaded everything you got. They've been showing it on one of their YouTube channels. Well, everybody's freaking out. What YouTube channel? What's the link? You know, they were going crazy because they were trying to find out where all this evidence was at and see how bad it was. And I can't remember what channel it was, but it was the anonymous, so there wasn't no way for them to know.
Right.
So they panicked and they started trying to get rid of things. But this stupid ass lawyer looked up every single thing he had done because somebody said, "Oh, I was told by one of the auditors that if you as an officer of the court delete anything off of yours and they already got copies of it, then that's going to show a sign of guilt, da-da-da-da-da." So he was bound and determined to leave it up. So the state is watching him every day and see what he does. Anyway, then once that was over, then he got the report back that I could refer to the district attorney's office for criminal investigation, but they wasn't going to do nothing to his license. At that point, the very next day, he started on me again. Well, we waited for about a month and got more stuff because that's retaliation against a witness.
There you go.
So we let him go along for another few months there and gathered up new evidence. So then we submitted to the state and we showed from this date to this date, once he was aware that there was a complaint in the bar, he stopped all harassment from this date to this date. When the bar gave it back, you'll find the very next day in 24 hours or less, after he was noticed, nothing's going to happen to his license. At that point, he went back into overdrive and people put back up spoof videos, blase, blase. So that showed that it was retaliation. So they continued action and ramped it up retaliatory. So all that's gone to the state. So the state has all that. And we went into his past and brought forward his whole past and things that he's done that's highly questionable, that draw all the links that he is probably a sexual predator, a pedophile predator. He likes to engage in sex with little boys, especially. He does girls, but his specialty is boys.
Oh my God! And this is that Merb guy, whatever you said his name. What was this Merb?
MERB 34ST on YouTube.
Yeesh. Well, I'm not going to go near that guy if he's into that. That's not my. I'm not into all that. I don't want to mess with that kind of stuff. No, but what I'm
saying is, you can look him up and look at some of his videos, and you'll find them.
Oh my Lord! Well, I'm trying to stay away from all that mess.
So you can see what's going on with him.
So you got something in front of the DA now. You're waiting on, right? You're waiting on that, and that's supposed to take care of that deal, right?
Well, yes. Once he's the head of the snake. Once they chop the head off the snake, metaphorically, then he'll lose his license. He'll be a convicted felon. He can't possess firearms. He can't vote. He can't run for office. And he'll have to go back to being a pizza boy again. If they'll hire him. But who wants who wants to have a record saying, that you're a bully and a cyber stalker, a hacker, and whatever else? I don't know where he's going to get a job. That's if he don't go to prison, because there's some special statutes that they're going to use where he retaliated against an active or retired law enforcement officer. And they're going after him because I'm an ordained minister and I have a church and we've suffered economic loss. So as soon as that's over, then there's going to be some, what they call criminal restitution, things that have caused me distress and problems, that they're going to make him pay through the court. But then we're going to go to civil court and file on all these other civil things. You remember O.J. Simpson?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, he got acquitted what they call nullification. So the jury just said it's bad all the way around. We're going to forget everything, and we're just going to nullify it and find him innocent.
Innocent.
Yeah, right. So here's the deal.
Even though they knew he did it, but they just said, well, we're going to ignore all this, and he's innocent. But even though they know he did it.
Right, exactly. But the Goldmans took him to civil court, and they got the civil judgments against him and got enforcement. So his house had to be sold. All the sports memorabilia had to be sold.
That's right.
They took everything but his NFL retirement, because by federal law, they couldn't touch his retirement.
There you go. Yeah. So it's all
he gets a certain amount of money there. So anyway, I guess the long and short of it is that after the criminal side is over, whether he's in prison or not, we're going to civil and get a civil judgment, and I'm probably going to make it for several $100,000.
Wow.
And so even if the judge brings it down to $100,000, that's fine, because we're going to make it, because he is a real incredible threat to me, directly or indirectly. He's going to have to pay it to the court, and the court pays me just like it's child support. And the same thing in the criminal side. Anything he has to pay for damages or losses criminally that he's liable for, then he has to pay the court. And so there'll be a wage garnishment on him. So his employer will have to take it out, and it'll be for a civil or criminal judgment. So his employer will know he's got a civil and a criminal conviction, and they're having to pay two monies out of his check, weekly or monthly, however it goes, to pay off this judgment.
How far are you away from that happening? How far off is that?
Well, the criminal side, any day they get ready to file it, they can.
I got you.
But my deal is that I've got a suspicion, without them telling me specifically, it's going to be sometime after the first of the year, because they had Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve, all that stuff.
Right.
And so different people are taking vacations during some of this period of time.
Yeah.
So sometimes they got skeleton crews, including investigators.
Yeah.
So I know that they turned it over. It was either to the local police or the sheriff's office to do the criminal investigation. So I think they're wrapped up, or pretty close to wrapping that up. Once that happens, then the law enforcement division of the prosecutor's office, they go through it from A to Z. They make any notes on anything that they wasn't clear on or wanted more clarification, or anything else they wanted to do. So they send it back to a referral for additional investigation. Then the police go back out and do it. And then anything that the law enforcement division needs to do in addition, because they got some tools the police don't, and then they'll activate some of their tools to finalize it. Well, once they get it all in all, then the DA takes it to the grand jury for an indictment. And then he's presented with an indictment. When he gets an indictment, then the bar is notified, and they suspend his license so he can't practice law until it's over.
Right. Well,
And so,
while it's going on, what do you think they're gonna charge him with? What are they gonna arrest him for? Or do you know what the charges would be?
well, that's up to the DA. I mean, that could be anything from uh, simple assaults, cyber stalking, aggravated cyber stalking. They're looking at, since a gun was pulled on a friend of mine that does what I do, and that he's treating us all badly and causing other people too, that even though the gun wasn't pulled on me,
Right.
because it's an associate of mine, that
Uh-huh.
causes a real incredible threat against my life, then they might connect that to him being criminally responsible for that to send a message to me, we'll kill you.
Yeah, they
So
could
they
do all.
might get that, they might move it up to aggravated stalking.
Yeah.
And
Inciting
then, of
panic.
course, yeah,
Yeah.
etc. Well, let me tell you what happened to you know what the NRA is, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, the vice president of the NRA
Yeah.
in, I think it was 1973 or 74. Do you know his story?
No, was that Charlton Heston? No, I'm just kidding. No, who was it?
No. Uh, I can't think of that man's name right this minute. I can see his face, and I can't think of his name. I want to say La Prairie or La Pree or something. I can't say it. But anyway, I don't know what his position was at the time. He might have been the executive vice president at the time. I don't know.
Of the
But
NRA.
whatever it was, he lived fairly close to the NRA headquarters, and he was nationally known. Well, people that were anti-gunners and anti-Second Amendment, one of those people called the police department, said, "Oh my God, you got to send the police out to this address. The man has murdered his wife, and he is loaded to bear. And he says any cop that comes around here will be killed."
Oh shit.
So they dispatched the police, the SWAT team, and then they had snipers laid out everywhere.
Oh
And
shit.
so they called him to come out the front door. And so
Yeah.
what he actually did was he told his wife, he said, "I don't know what's going on, but
Right.
they're after me." And said, "I think if we both go out with our hands up, then they'll see that we're not dangerous people." Because he didn't know what was
Oh.
going on.
Yeah.
Said, "But they're calling for me." And so she said, yes, she was going to go out. So they went out with their hands up. They were taken to the ground, cuffed, and he said, "What's going on?" They said, "Well, we got to call you murdered your wife." He said, "Well, you can see she's right here,
Right on.
you
There she
know."
is.
And, you know, basically, they said, "And you was having guns?" He said, "Oh, I've got guns in my house that are locked down. You know, I work at the NRA." Well,
Yeah.
anyway, the police had to pay a gigantic settlement to him and his wife for excessive use of force, for this,
Well
that, and the
now.
other thing, because while they were supposed to respond on this call, and while they had no way of knowing if it really happened, deploying the SWAT team was appropriate. Snipers appropriate. Calling him out was appropriate.
Right.
But once they saw his wife with him, that was really the end of it.
Well, how'd they
Because
know?
now,
How they know that was his wife? That could have been some other lady. Could have been his sister. Well, I don't know. That don't
right,
sound. That sounds to me like that don't sound too bad to me. I mean, that could have been any
right,
lady.
but right. I mean, they're saying you killed your wife, and she's right there, and then the woman saying, "Yes, I'm so and so. I'm his wife."
I know
And
the very.
so the point is that police stormed inside the house, went over the house. There's nobody in there, and they still took him to jail.
Oh, they took him to jail after that, huh? Hmm.
Yeah, they got him for uh, false arrest and false imprisonment.
Yeah. Why'd they take him to
So,
jail?
huh?
So why'd they take him to jail?
For investigation.
Oh.
Well, anyway, he made his one phone call. It was daytime and good light by then. So he called down there and said, "Hey, I've been arrested, da da da." So they sent their NRA attorney down there,
Oh shit.
and and then he had his own private attorney who went down there, and these two attorneys said, "What in God's green acres are you people doing? These people are nationally known. Her picture is with him all the time. Since she's been in local newspapers repeatedly, she is known to be his wife."
Oh. Oh shit.
Well, yes. Did y'all not know that's his wife? Yes. Well,
Oh.
then when he come out, then y'all had no authority to enter the home at that point
Well, yeah.
because you knew it was his wife, and then y'all still handcuffed them and caused injuries to their hands and their arms.
Oh
You
shit. Well,
humiliated
you
them
know,
in front of their neighbors.
the wife could have had a twin sister. I don't know. I think they did all right. They should have took him to jail, but to talk to him. But anyway, so what does all this come? Oh, this comes into like what you're talking about with that other guy, with that attorney who's. See,
Right.
I had those Trump
Well,
supporters. They sent the cop to my house, and he didn't come in my house, but he came. I was sitting outside. I went outside, and I was sitting out there when the cop came up on me, and so, but he didn't arrest me or anything, but he told me to get off of YouTube or he'd take me to jail.
he can't do that. That's a First Amendment violation.
That's what I told him. I said that's my First Amendment right to be on there. And he said if you get back on YouTube tonight, I'm taking you to jail. That's what he said. That's what he told me. Sounds like
Well, what police department?
it's a very small police department in Ohio. Small town.
Right.
Like a
Wow.
well. Well, look. I hope you get. I got to get ready to go. I got to be somewhere at 10:30 here. But we could talk a little later on about all this and figure out what the next step is. Maybe it sounds to me like you need more help than I do with all that mess you got going on with that crazy attorney over there. You know.
I've got 5 attorneys that are personal friends throughout the country that are working on this with me, and so once I prevail, and I will,
Yeah.
whether it takes another few months or 2 or 3 years, once I prevail, and that'll be national news, it'll
Oh, yeah.
shut a lot of these trolls down.
Well, I tell you, that's probably what it needs, some kind of national exposure like that. You know, if your case gets, if that crazy California attorney gets hit with $250,000 or whatever, maybe a charge, and has to go back to delivering pizzas, if that gets on the news, because I saw something they were talking about in New York. It was on the news this morning. In New York, the police, something about First Amendment protection. The big deal in New York, they were jumping through the subways and all that stuff. Did you see that?
No, I ain't seen the TV this morning.
It's the same thing you're talking about. Same thing. It's like, and the police had to put out a statement that they do not violate people's First Amendment right. And it was big news. They had about 30,000 people running.
Well, are you in Dallas now?
What?
I said, are you in Dallas now?
I am now, yeah.
Okay. So, well, in Texas, the reason why I asked is because in Texas, and especially in Dallas, the city of Dallas, they have training on public photography, First Amendment, Second Amendment. They got a lot of special training so that they don't have any, quote, plausible deniability. So if you have problems in Texas, it makes it a lot better for you.
Well, that's good. But I don't have that. See, I'm not the one out there doing that. These guys, I don't know. They're kind of coming after me, violating my First Amendment. They just via the internet, basically. I'm not going to them. They're coming after me. They're finding me wherever I go. They show up. They're crazy. I don't know how they do it. There's some kind of YouTube hackers, and that's what I want to do. Is I want to learn how to hack. I want to, I feel like I'm gonna fight fire with fire. If it's gonna be rather than go hide and stick my head in the sand. I'm not gonna do that.
No. Yep. Well, I just come back from Ohio not too long ago doing audits up there with police. in Ohio. You know,
Yeah,
I know a lot about Ohio.
well, I was. Oh, I got you. Well, I was over there. I was over there visiting my. I was over there visiting my sister, and but I'm back here now. But yeah, it doesn't matter where I am. They find me. You know, they know where I am. They know my address. They know my phone number, and they call
Well,
me up.
you know how to change that?
No, how do I? I need to go dark.
Oh, the quickest, fastest way to do it, and you and your wife can look into it. And there's kits online. Most of them are free. There's a template. Create a trust. TRUST, a trust.
Oh yeah.
You open up a bank account in the name of the trust. You
Okay.
list your property in the name of the trust. So basically, any cars, homes, bank accounts, anything you have goes in the name of the trust, and you become a beneficiary. Just like on disability, you're a beneficiary. Then you name somebody over the trust. In fact, the trust could be in your name, and your wife can be the trustee. And
Yeah.
so you put everything in the name of the trust, and she's the trustee, so you can pay your electric bill, phone bills, everything through your trust.
Well, it's a little late for
And
that.
then,
They know where I am now. For that to work, I'd pretty much have to move, buy another house or something, you know. But right now they already know it's all, and they put it all out there. It's like, what is it called? They call it They dox me. What they did.
yeah,
They
right,
put all my personal
right.
information, you know, everything about me, you know. My
Sure,
car.
absolutely.
Listen to this. I got this car, right? This old car I've had. They put it they put it on Craigslist for sale, and I'm getting all these phone calls wanting to buy my car. They put it on Craigslist for $100. You know,
Wow.
just to fuck with me, drive me crazy. So I'm getting all these phone calls, you know, wanting to buy my car. The thing about it is the car wasn't even running. It's broken. You know? But I got it fixed now.
Wow.
I'm on the road. I'm mobile. So I'm thinking about maybe going on the road, making a road trip, but you know, what I'm thinking. Pay these guys are old. They're like 50-year-old Trump supporters. I mean, they can't be too intimidating. Maybe I just pay them a visit. That's what I think.
Well, you you need to be real cautious in that. In other words, if you're on a public street and you know where one of them lives and you drive by in front of their house and they see you drive by, you know, that sends a message, I won't tolerate being bullied.
Right, that's what I'm
But
thinking. Yeah, they see my
if
car
you,
driving by. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And that's the same thing that guy was doing to you. I could drive down a public street too, you know. Now
right,
I don't
if
have
you,
a.
if,
I'm not gonna bring a
if you
gun.
drive by, sit in front of their house and take some pictures and say, hey, you're going to be a YouTube star, buddy.
That's right.
And then that's fighting fire with fire, but
That's
you're
fire with
doing it
fire.
legally. Don't
I
threaten nobody,
right. Eye for an eye, tooth
you
for
know.
tooth. That's my motto. You know.
Yeah, right. But don't ever lower yourself to their standards.
Right. No, I'm
You
not
know,
gonna.
keep your moral and your integrity. But you know, driving by, uh, like some of the people that have bothered me, you know, they're more than insane. I've got law enforcement sources and resources across the whole country. So some of these people have been found out. So there's extra patrol on their streets. So they get their eye full of cops on a
Oh,
regular
awesome.
basis.
Well, yeah.
You
You
know,
guys.
let them know, hey, we know who you are and we're watching you. And if you commit a crime, we're going to get you.
Right.
So,
Your guys
so
are
there's
much
lots of ways
more
to work things.
much you guys are much more organized. The guys that are going after you, harassing you are much more organized. I just got a band of misfits, you know, a bunch of I think they're like a biker gang or something. I don't know. They just do this for fun. They find somebody and they just ride them until they go away. But your guys,
Right.
that you talk about some kind of organized platform of 200 people coming after you. Now, why are they coming after you? What did you do?
Well, I was just doing audits and it pissed off that attorney because I had no idea who he was, which it wouldn't have mattered. If I'd known he was an attorney, I'd have just said, well, we have a difference of opinion and left it at that. I mean,
Right.
I don't stir him, but
Well,
I
that's
hurt his feelings And because he's a psychopath and narcissistic, I hurt his feelings, so he come after me, and he was already telling the other ones what to do and not do, because, see, he got a law license, so he thinks he's the king of attorneys or something.
That's right. Yep.
Yep.
I got you.
Well, I'll let you get on your rat killing. We'll talk again some other time.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. The fuck?
All right. Well, there you have it. Like I said, that was a day that changed my life. Best $100 I ever spent, right there. There he is. This is his website. If you need his services, as you can say, I'm a changed person. Everybody can see it. Who knew me before 2019? I was out of fucking control. You know, this guy. Yeah, I mean, just like anything, you got to pick up, you know, the diamonds in the rough. He had some he made 2 or 3 good points in there, but anyway, that's about it. It's not going to be I try to keep it short. I don't know what else to say about this guy, but it was funny that I totally forgot about this until I saw him last week. Last week at Earl's trial, I said, "Fuck, there he is. That's that guy. You can't forget that voice. He was talking the same way and shit, saying the same shit." I said, "Well, that's him." And there he is. I didn't know he started at age 14 at Dallas Police Cadet. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. But anyway, I might do some more of these because in looking for this, I found a bunch of other shit. I didn't know I was out of fucking control. I called a lot of people. That somebody mentioned targeted citizen. You know, I don't know. Some of that might have been borderline harassment. I don't know, but it's funny. I'm a kindler, gentler name in these days. So, but anyway, let me know if you guys want to hear some more of this kind of crazy shit. A lot of the other. This is probably the longest call I've ever, outside of scam baiting, of course. But some of these guys, you guys may know. Anyway, that's about it. I don't know. I think I heard something about maybe Merv and Kate were going to go live tonight. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see that. But anyway, I don't think Merv showed up. I'll leave this up in case Merv wants to see it, you know. And I don't know, maybe this guy's going to sue me. What do you think? Can he? Texas, Alabama, they're both one-party states, so it should be good. But yeah, okay, I see. See, now there's Tarquin. Fuck. See, now most of this shit, why I was in such a bad position is because this guy here, Tarquin, would get me to do shit with that little do it shit. And then apparently tomorrow is solstice, right? Tomorrow's the solstice. I got to jump in the fucking pool tomorrow. Is that it? Yeah. All right. I got to do it live. Is that right? I got to jump in the fucking pool live. You know it's going to be like, I don't know, 10 fucking degrees. Is that cool with you, Tarquin? You ruined my life. I had to call this guy because what Tarquin was doing to me, and now he's gonna try and give me the. Yeah, right, Shiva. Yeah, I guess it's gonna happen tomorrow. I got to do it, even though I didn't lose a bet. I don't understand this shit somehow. But you know, Tarquin, you got to do it. He won't let it go. So, guess that's what we're doing tomorrow. Yay me. Good night, everybody. Hey, if I don't talk to you, y'all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and all that good stuff. Peace. Thanks, Alex. Take care. Hey, I'm going to go out my should I play it? I already got a copyright strike on it. May as well do it, huh? Yeah, I sure did get a copyright strike. Yeah, I did. That just sucks, man. Sucks to be me.
We're gonna do one called Even Trolls Love Rock and Roll. Yeah. One time I had this little band back home, a rock and roll band. And we was going to play this job one night, and it went too far away, so we was walking. Well, we came up on this long, dark stretch of woods. Had an old river running through it, and an old wooden bridge across the river. Well, just as I was about to step up on the bridge, out stepped the troll. The almighty troll. And he said, "Hey, looks like y'all going to play somewhere." And I said, "Yes, sir." 'Cause you always want to say yes sir to a troll.